I showed up well before sunrise on this morning, cold and windy and dark, just to get in before this lovely lady showed up. This Belted Kingfisher. She shows up like clockwork every morning I go to this spot, pretty much right at sunrise, within 5 minutes. It's so great to hang out with her. I sit on the shoreline in a hide, and she hangs out. On this particular morning, some of the water was freezing, and there was only open water right under the perches I had set up for her. And so it worked out really well that she kept feeding and landing on these perches. She usually does, but sometimes she'll move to other areas. She's such a cooperative bird. And it's great to watch her like this where she has no clue that I'm there. She's just doing her thing. There was a cloud bank behind me that kind of delayed sunrise a little bit, but you can see the colors are just starting to show up, and it won't be long before the sun starts shining right on her and the perch. In the meantime, even in this soft light, plenty of good photos to be had. There it is. There's that beautiful golden sun. It's so beautiful out at this marsh. I love spending time there. And I always get to play with the offset compositions on these perches to include some of those nice colors in the background that you see. But it's always a fun challenge deciding which way she's going to look and then being ready for it. The nice thing is, once you lock focus on her, as long as she's staying in the same spot, I don't have to keep refocusing. I can just kind of lock focus and recompose. It works out well for shots like that. Because she was so cooperative on this morning and she stayed in front of me for a good few hours, I decided to start playing with some of the new focusing settings on this Nikon Z6 II, and just playing with the subject tracking here, which on this example it actually worked quite nicely. Stationary bird, it let me easily do a composition like that, and the background's clean. She's not moving much, so for circumstances like this it works quite nicely. But I can't help but feel like I'm not getting critical focus right on the eye. At that distance, I don't think it's that big a deal, but it is nicer to have a smaller focus point. You can see I'm just swinging the camera around, trying to face whichever way she's looking. I love how the wind blows her head feathers on this one. You can really see how intently she's looking and searching for food. And here I am just trying every focus mode possible, seeing what works. This one technically works, but really doesn't feel accurate at all, so I quickly switched off of that. Here's just a close zoom in so you guys can check her out. And then the sun finally started really directly hitting her. There were some trees behind me that block it in the beginning, but the sun always kind of swings around and gets up high enough to get that beautiful light right on the bird. And I just keep playing the composition game. I love going higher, so putting her lower in the frame and getting those warm tones at the top. But sometimes when she's looking down, it makes sense to have her higher in the frame, so it's nice to have the options. See, like this, I think I should have had her higher in the frame, but it still works. At this point, the light is just about perfect. Just nice early morning sun coming in from behind and to the left. Gives me nice shape on her. You can see the shadow falling off on the right hand side works well. But great light in her face. And she just hung out for me on this morning. A lot of other mornings she'll move away and then come back. She doesn't stay the whole time. But on this particular outing, she was just in front of me the entire morning. It was pretty cool. And this is something she would do quite often. She goes and hunts up in this tree. I think she gets a little higher perspective up there. But on this particular morning, she didn't stay very long because there was ice underneath of her. But while she sat up there, I decided to take a look at some of the distant swans. It's such a beautiful, vast, open place. And it's great being there by yourself with no one around. Just the sounds of nature and the wind. And the cold. But there's always a great collection of newt swans here. But mixed in are also some tundra swans. So I was just scanning to see if I could find any of those tundra swans. That one's a mute with the orange bill. You can see there's no shortage of swans. And I think the one on the left swimming there is a tundra with the dark black bill. It's neat to use the camera to view these birds so far away. It's like having a miniature TV that I can just watch when the wildlife is really far away. And you see, that's just the regular view through the lens. And then this is how far away they are. And watch as I zoom wide here, you'll see those birds are really far away. I think if it wasn't for that strong wind, the entire body of water right here would have been frozen. So thanks to the wind, it kept it open for this kingfisher to give me a great morning. Just waiting for it to look just right. There we go. There's the head angle. Composer top right. And then boom, we get the shot. And then back to playing the waiting game. Will she turn or won't she? Almost, almost. There we go. Let's wait. Shadow on the head. Let's wait to see that eye. There we go. And then thankfully she eventually turned around. And it's a little easier to get the portraits like that. She's got great coloration, this female. And at this point, I've been photographing her for a period of 4 months, on and off. I even tried messing with just single shot autofocus, and it has a pinpoint mode where you get a real tiny focus point. So I thought, since she is stationary, I might be able to use that to good effect. And it worked. And then about an hour and a half, 2 hours after sunrise, I had had enough, the light was getting strong. I waited for her to move on and go back up to the farther away trees, and then called it a morning. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful morning.